Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a topic that, well, it feels more relevant than ever: imposter scams.
It really does.
We've got a pretty compelling stack of sources here, including a detailed report on cybersecurity and darker objectives, the latest FTC data, and some global scam reports, too.
Yeah, a lot to work with.
All designed to help us really unpack how these pervasive frauds actually work.
Right. Our mission today, really, is to cut through all the noise. We want to give you a crystal clear understanding of imposter scams.
Okay.
Not just what they are, but how they systematically operate. And importantly, the surprising psychological levers they pull to trick us. Hopefully, you'll walk away with the insights you need to spot these deceptive ploys before they can impact you.
Absolutely. And this deep dive, it builds on some of our previous discussions, like about spoofing and phishing. Those are kind of foundational here.
They are. Definitely. They're tools in the imposter's toolkit.
But here's where it gets, I think, really interesting. Imposter scams often rely less on, complex malware and much more on pure psychological manipulation.
That's the core of it.
And that's what makes them so incredibly difficult to detect if you're not prepared. So let's truly unpack this.
Let's do it.
So to start us off, what genuinely defines an imposter scam? How does it, set itself apart from other types of fraud we might run into?
Well, what's fascinating here, I think, is that unlike scams focused purely on, say, technical exploits or malware,
Right.
imposter scams almost always involve direct, personalized communication. The scammer pretends to be someone you know, or, more often, someone you trust.
Like who?
We're talking government agencies, the IRS is a classic, family members, even representatives from businesses you use. They leverage our inherent trust in those figures.
And that's precisely why they're so effective, isn't it?
Exactly.
The communication often looks legitimate. They'll use fake logos, official-sounding language,
That's that whole package.
even manipulated caller ID to make it seem like it's coming from a known number. And beyond that, they masterfully create the sense of urgency or fear,
Yes, the pressure.
designed to pressure you into acting quickly, without taking a moment to actually verify anything.
Right. Stop you from thinking critically.
And the ultimate goal, well, it's always the same, isn't it? To extract personal information or, of course, money.
That urgency is just key
Mhm.
because it bypasses our critical thinking. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it raises an important question.
Mhm.
How do these criminals systematically approach their victims? Is there like a playbook they follow?
Well, yeah, our sources actually lay out a remarkably consistent framework for how these scams typically unfold.
Really? Like steps?
Yeah, it's a step-by-step process
Right.
designed basically to systematically exploit trust and leverage those psychological vulnerabilities you mentioned.
You're right. It's almost like reading from a script sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
The first step is always the initiation of the scam.
Okay.
This usually begins with some kind of unsolicited communication, a phone call out of the blue, an email, a text message, maybe even a direct message on social media. And scammers use pretty sophisticated techniques here, like spoofing caller IDs to mimic official numbers or creating fake websites that look uncannily like the real organization.
Oh.
This initial contact, it's meticulously crafted. It's designed to immediately create either urgency or fear, right from that first hello.
Okay, so they grab your attention, then what?
Then comes building trust and credibility.
Right, because they need you to believe them.
Exactly. They're not just random callers. They often use bits of personal information they've somehow gathered about you, maybe from data breaches, maybe just stuff you've publicly shared on social media,
Scary.
to make their claims sound more convincing. They might use official language,
Yeah.
talk about fake employee IDs, even drop the names of real employees sometimes.
Yeah, imagine someone claiming to be from, say, the Social Security Administration, and they use a real official's name. You'd think, oh, okay, this must be legitimate.
That's where that authority bias kicks in, isn't it? We're often predisposed to trust figures who sound official. Okay, so the third step is perhaps the most crucial. Creating a sense of urgency.
This is the pressure part.
Yes. Scammers typically claim there's some immediate problem that needs resolving right now. An overdue bill, a pressing legal issue, a security threat on your bank account, something like that.
And they threaten consequences.
Oh, absolutely. They might threaten arrest, hefty fines, or other dire consequences if you don't comply immediately. It pushes you to make hasty decisions before you have a chance to think clearly or check things out.
It's like they're deliberately trying to short-circuit your brain's pause button. You hear about people rushing to send money, and you think, how could they fall for that? But when it's your loved one, supposedly on the line, or the threat of immediate arrest, that rational part of your brain just takes a back seat, doesn't it?
It really does. Fear is powerful.
And finally, they move to the payoff, requesting payment or personal information.
The end game.
This is where they go for it. Payments are almost always demanded via, well, untraceable methods, things like gift cards.
Gift cards, yeah.
Yeah.
Or wire transfers, cryptocurrency.
Right. They choose these methods precisely because they're nearly impossible to reverse or trace back to the scammer.
Makes sense from their perspective.
Or they might ask for sensitive personal info, social security numbers, bank account details for identity theft down the line.
So that's the basic blueprint, the framework. But these scams, they don't always look the same on the surface, do they?
No, not at all.
They morph into different forms, each designed to exploit a specific kind of trust or fear. Maybe we should dig into some of the most common masks these imposters wear.
Yeah, good idea. It's unsettling how methodical they are, and it's particularly concerning how sophisticated some of these types have become. You mentioned AI earlier. Deepfakes even popping up on video calls now.
It's evolving fast.
So to give you, our listener, a clearer picture, let's explore some of the main categories you might encounter.
Okay, well, one of the most prevalent types, definitely, are government imposter scams.
The IRS call.
Exactly. Or scammers posing as the Social Security Administration, maybe Medicare. They use aggressive threats, arrest, fines, and they demand payment via those untraceable methods, crypto or gift cards.
And it's worth repeating. The IRS will never call you demanding immediate payment like that. They contact you by mail first.
Absolutely critical point. Then you have bank and financial institution scams.
What do those look like?
Here, they claim there's suspicious activity on your account. They might ask for your PIN or password, which you should never give out.
Never.
Or they might instruct you to send money to a supposedly safe account to protect your funds, often using caller ID spoofing to make it look like the call is really from your bank. Very. Another heartbreaking category is family or grandparent scams.
These are awful.
They really are. Scammers pretend to be a loved one in distress. Maybe they say they're in jail, had an accident, need emergency funds for something.
And they always say, don't tell anyone. Right.
Almost always. Don't tell mom and dad, or keep this between us. And they need money immediately via wire transfer or gift cards. It just preys on that deep emotional connection.
And who hasn't heard of tech support scams? These feel ubiquitous.
Yeah, the ones impersonating Microsoft or Apple, claiming your computer has a virus.
We've detected a problem.
Right. Then they try to get remote access to your device or charge you hundreds of dollars for services you don't need or that don't even exist.
It's infuriating. What else?
Well, beyond that, we see charity scams. These pop up, especially after natural disasters or during the holidays.
Taking advantage of generosity.
Exactly. Impersonating real charities or sometimes just making up fake ones to solicit donations. And a very insidious one is romance scams.
Yes. These can go on for a long time.
Months, even years. Fraudsters build deep emotional connections online, gain trust, and then suddenly they need money. They're stuck in a foreign country, they have a financial emergency. They basically weaponize affection.
It's devastating for victims. And as the digital landscape evolves, so do the scams. We're seeing a rise in investment and finfluencer scams, too.
Tell me about those.
Well, they might impersonate licensed financial professionals, or they use fake endorsements from online finfluencers, financial influencers,
Right.
to promote fraudulent investments.
Yeah.
Often involves fake cryptocurrencies or bogus schemes.
And then there's affinity fraud. This one's particularly cunning.
How so?
It targets specific groups, maybe a religious community, an ethnic group, seniors, by someone pretending to be part of that group.
Oh, leveraging that built-in trust.
Precisely. Exploiting that pre-existing trust within the community for financial gain.
Wow. And finally, as you touched on earlier, the really cutting-edge stuff, AI-enhanced scams.
Yeah, this is a growing concern. Using voice cloning, deepfake video.
To impersonate loved ones or officials in real-time video calls?
Exactly. They're becoming incredibly convincing, which makes verifying who you're actually talking to exponentially harder.
Okay, this next section is crucial for you, our listener.
Yeah.
Because it outlines the very specific details, the tactics, the red flags that should immediately make your antenna go up.
Right. Knowing these can be your strongest defense.
Because imposter scams, as we've said, rely heavily on psychological manipulation. But increasingly, they layer on technical sophistication.
Indeed. So let's break down the common tactics, starting with the initial contact. How do they first reach out?
Well, They use those spoofed caller IDs we mentioned, or phishing emails, or smishing texts, that's phishing via SMS.
Got it. Smishing.
These often contain urgent requests, and they're backed by social engineering using personal information they've scraped from social media or maybe data breaches
Right.
to make their messages sound shockingly convincing, like they actually know you.
Okay, so they make contact. Then they need to build credibility. How do they do that?
They impersonate those authoritative figures we talked about, government officials like the IRS, Social Security,
Tech support reps.
tech support from Microsoft or Geek Squad, yeah. Or even family members in those grandparent scams.
Bank or business reps, too, right? Claiming issues with your Amazon account or something.
Exactly. And they use high-pressure tactics. Threats of arrest, fines, account suspension. It's all designed to prevent you from taking a moment to actually verify their claims.
Panic mode. Okay, then comes the core of it. Manipulation and deception. This is where they ask for the payoff.
This is it. They request payments through those untraceable methods we keep mentioning. Gift cards.
Yeah, the gift cards always stand out. Cryptocurrency, wire transfers.
Bitcoin ATMs even, or common payment apps like Zelle, Venmo, Cash App, where reversing payments can be really difficult. They might also fish for sensitive information, your social security number, bank details, or those crucial one-time passwords, OTPs.
Never give out an OTP.
Absolutely not. In tech support scams, they might trick you into downloading software that gives them remote access to your device.
Ooh, dangerous.
And always, always watch out for fake websites. They often have subtle clues, maybe poor design, spelling errors, or website addresses, URLs that just aren't quite right.
Yeah, look closely.
It's horrifying how elaborate some of these can get, too. In the more sophisticated scams, the deception can have multiple layers.
Like what?
Like maybe a fake retail employee transfers you to a seemingly different person who's actually a fake bank representative. It's all part of the same scam.
Wow, coordinated.
They create utterly false scenarios, claiming you've been hacked or maybe you've won a prize, but you need to pay an upfront fee to collect it.
The classic advance fee fraud.
Right. Some even resort to outright threats and intimidation to keep victims compliant and scared to seek help.
And their exit strategy. What happens after they get what they want?
Swift and clinical. Once they have the money or the information, they simply disappear, vanish. And unfortunately, funds sent via cryptocurrency or gift cards are often completely unrecoverable. It leaves victims in just a devastating financial and, frankly, emotional void.
It's truly awful.
So, given everything we've just uncovered, all these tactics, the psychology, what does this all mean for you, listening right now? How can you possibly protect yourself against these incredibly cunning schemes?
Well, the most effective defense, really, it boils down to vigilance combined with rigorous verification. It's not passive.
Okay. What's step one?
First, never give out personal information. Name, address, social security number, PINs, passwords, financial details over the phone, unless you initiated that contact with a number you know is legitimate.
That's key. You make the call.
Exactly. And always, always use two-factor authentication on all your financial accounts. It's a simple but really powerful extra layer of security.
Good advice. What else?
Critically, always verify anomalous communications or requests for payments. Don't just trust the sender info or the caller ID we know that can be faked.
Right.
Instead, independently confirm the source. Find a verified phone number yourself from an official website, an old bill, a statement, and call them directly.
Don't use the number they give you.
Never. Also, be incredibly wary of anyone asking for payment via gift cards, wire transfers, or cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Legitimate organizations just don't operate that way, period.
Okay, that's a huge red flag.
It really is. Educate yourself on common scams. If you get an unexpected call claiming to be from your bank's fraud department, what do?
Hang up and call the bank back using the number on their official website or My Card.
Perfect. Always verify using a known number you found yourself. Be suspicious of any call from a government agency asking for money or information.
Because
Government agencies don't use threats or call you demanding money out of the blue. The IRS, for example, contacts taxpayers by mail first. Always.
Good to know. Also, guard your personal information diligently, right? Don't just share sensitive data like passwords or those one-time passcodes with anyone who asks.
Absolutely. And if the worst happens, if you think you've fallen victim, you need to act quickly.
What are the steps?
Contact your bank or credit card company immediately. Report it to the Internet Crime Complaint Center, that's IC3, and consider placing a fraud alert on your credit reports.
Okay, immediate action.
Yes. And if you encounter red flags during a call, Just hang up immediately. Don't worry about being rude.
Better safe than sorry.
Definitely. Be inherently skeptical of urgency. Remember, scammers pressure victims specifically to prevent critical thinking and verification.
Slow down. Take a breath.
Exactly. Understand the communication guidelines of official bodies, like we said. The IRS won't message you on social media or call demanding payment. And just as a best practice, don't respond to unsolicited messages. Verify independently using official contact details, not the ones the potential scammer gives you.
Enable account alerts too, maybe?
Good point, yes. Enable account alerts. And importantly, educate yourself and share this knowledge, especially with older adults who are often targeted. Talk about these evolving scam tactics, including the growing threat of AI and voice cloning.
Knowledge is power here. So these scams, they aren't just an annoyance, are they? They're a massive global problem. What do the numbers tell us about their sheer scale and impact?
Yeah, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the 2024 Global State of Scams report, this is from GASA and FeedSci, it reveals a truly staggering figure.
Okay, let's hear it.
Scammers stole over $1.03 trillion globally in the past 12 months alone.
Wait, say that again?
$1.03 trillion.
Trillion with a T. That's
Yeah.
almost unfathomable.
It is, and imposter scams contribute significantly to that colossal sum. It just underscores the profitability and the sheer scale of this criminal enterprise.
Wow. What about here in the U.S.?
In the United States specifically, there were over 856,000 imposter fraud cases reported in 2023, just last year.
Okay.
Losses from business and government impersonation scams hit $1.1 billion. That's more than triple the figures from just back in 2020.
Triple. That's rapid growth.
It is. And the median loss for someone targeted by a government impersonation scam was $1,400. Imposter scams were actually the second most reported type of fraud back in 2020, right behind identity theft. They accounted for nearly 36% of all reported financial losses then.
So a huge chunk of the pie. And this isn't just a U.S. problem, is it? You said global report.
No, absolutely not. It's truly global. The United Kingdom, for instance, saw about $177.6 million in losses from these types of scams in 2022. Dropped a bit to $148 million in 2023, but still huge numbers. And globally, digital channels, think fraudulent websites, emails, social media, texts, they're now the primary way these scams are initiated.
More than phone calls now.
Yes, actually surpassing traditional phone calls in both frequency and the sheer financial damage they inflict. Platforms like WhatsApp, Instagram, Gmail are frequently exploited. And SMS scams, that phishing we talked about, are particularly prevalent in countries like the Philippines and South Korea.
And what's fascinating here, and maybe a bit terrifying, is the accelerating role of AI in all of this. It seems like a super enhancer for these scams.
Precisely. The integration of AI into scam operations is a rapidly growing concern. It enables fraudsters to generate incredibly realistic voices, videos, even entire scripts for their scams.
Making them harder to detect.
Much harder. Although it's worth noting that awareness of AI's role in scams still remains surprisingly low in some countries. Places like Japan and Malaysia, for example.
Interesting. So despite rising awareness, generally you see stats like 67% of global consumers report feeling confident they can detect scams.
Right.
There seems to be this huge disconnect between that confidence and the actual reality of protection.
Well, it's a critical gap, a really worrying one. Only 4% of scam victims worldwide actually recover their losses.
4%? Wow.
Yeah. It highlights this profound disparity between how capable people feel and how protected they actually are. And it raises a really important question, I think, which is, if the majority feel confident, yet so few recover their funds, what does that tell us about our collective understanding of the true sophistication of these evolving threats, especially as AI becomes more deeply integrated into their arsenal?
Yeah. Are we overconfident?
Maybe. It also speaks volumes about the devastating psychological toll. Victims in places like Kenya and South Africa report just incredibly high levels of vulnerability, fear, and a profound loss of trust after being scammed.
It's clear that technology is playing a much bigger role now, but on both sides of this sort of cat and mouse game.
Indeed. Financial institutions are, thankfully, rapidly deploying AI and machine learning tools to try and detect suspicious transactions and patterns.
So tech is part of the solution too.
It has to be. But experts consistently emphasize that technology alone isn't a silver bullet. It's not enough. Industry-wide collaboration, robust data sharing between institutions, and continuous, clear consumer education are absolutely critical for effective prevention.
It takes a village, basically.
Essentially, yes.
And just to give you a truly concrete idea of how these play out in the real world, Our sources mention some pretty recent unsettling examples.
Like what?
In 2023, the FBI warned about deepfake job interviews.
No way.
Yeah, scammers using AI to create fake video personas to interview for remote jobs purely to gain access to company systems.
That's elaborate.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
In 2022, thousands fell victim to those WhatsApp family scams, the "Hi Mom, I lost my phone" message asking for urgent money transfers.
Heard about those, yeah.
And back in 2021, South African SARS, their revenue service, faced widespread impersonation scams that trick victims into giving up info on sophisticated phishing sites. So these aren't just abstract threats, they're happening constantly all over the world.
Right now.
So putting it all together,
Yeah.
what does this all mean for you? The world of imposter scams, it's just constantly evolving, isn't it? Masterfully blending that old school psychological manipulation with cutting edge tech like AI.
It really is.
The key takeaway from this deep dive, I think, is clear. Vigilance and independent verification are, without a doubt, your strongest defenses. You have to be proactive.
And this deep dive hopefully reveals not just the cunning tactics, but the sheer devastating scale of both financial and emotional damage caused by these scams. The knowledge you've gained today hopefully empowers you to protect yourself and, crucially, those you care about. Because sharing this information is vital.
Absolutely. When you think about that staggering $1.03 trillion figure, global losses, it just underscores how profitable and pervasive these scams are, and maybe even more chillingly, how rarely victims actually recover their losses. It paints a really stark picture.
And this, I think, truly raises that important question for all of us to consider. Is 67% of global consumers feel confident they can spot a scam? Yet only 4% actually get their money back when they're targeted. What does that really say about our collective understanding of the true sophistication of these evolving threats?
Right.
Especially as AI becomes more and more integrated into every aspect of these operations. It really challenges our perception of how well prepared we truly are, doesn't it?
It really does. Something to definitely mull on. The deep dive is all about empowering you with knowledge. So stay curious, stay skeptical, and always, always verify. Until next time.